But I went through a lot of trial and tribulations, getting jumped on the dash bus by
Yeah.
schoolyard Crips and being shot at by Harlem. And then another act of war commenced when the 18th Street got involved. And that's when things became very hostile because...
Alright, welcome back to S.WigginsTV. It's your host, none other than Worldwide S. Wiggins. And I'm back, man, with a personal friend of mine, man. You know, when you talk about somebody that's really thinking outside of the box, man, that pushes for positivity, man. When you talk about somebody that really checked up on me while I was, in that situation, man, when I got sent, you feel me? When I'm in the jungle, really hitting my baby mama, seeing what's good with me, man. All the so-called homies ain't really tap in. He has endless knowledge, and he's a role model. He came from the slums, just like us. And, he's on a different, he's on a different time now. He about to tell you, hey, I'm going to let the brother speak for himself, man. Please give it up from Stoney, from BPS. What's the deal?
Greetings, all is well, my brother. How you doing?
All right, coolin', man. Thank you, man. This is part 2, by the way, man. If you ain't checked part 1 and shit. Yep. If you already see part 1, I'll probably put it in the pinned comment. But Stone, man, when you look at current events, man, what's really going on, man? How do you feel about this? I'm pretty sure you seen the video where the Rolling Crips, the Hovers, basically a lot of the Crips, kind of got together, and it's all kind of talks of peace. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel it's a great thing that us African black people is coming together, because before white supremacy, we didn't have an idea of any type of gang, any type of blood, any type of Crip. Those things were inherited due to the social injustice, the slavery, the white supremacy, the Jim Crow, the proclamation of emancipation, the barriers that we gone through. Even through slavery, we was taught to hate each other. From the house, from the field, we were taught to hate each other. And I believe that was the root of the Bloods and Crips, through white supremacy teaching us to hate each other, making us go against each other, using other Africans such as dark-skinned Africans and light-skinned Africans, black, Hebrew Israelite, whatever we want to, call ourselves at this time and place. But it all stems from the same lineage, which is Africa. But that was their goal, because if they kept us divided, that means they keeping us spiritually, mentally, psychologically, financially, economically divided.
Right.
And they want to break the consciousness and the vibration and the rhythm of the Pan-African black Muslim people. So as long as they keep us divided, that means they don't have to fight the war. They don't have to hang us, lynch us. They don't have to do mass incarceration, which they do, because we unfortunately destroy ourselves. So when I hear the Bloods, Crips coming together, stopping the war, the 60s, the A-Trade, when I hear the Bloods coming together, doing the walk with YG and Game and all these, it brings a joy to my heart, because I see it in a higher perspective. Because we know the truth, but the truth is not hating each other. The truth is learning, teaching, loving each other. Because like I said before, they taught us hate. So when I hate you, I hate me, because we all mimicking each other.
Right.
But what happened was, Brother Wiggins, They replaced our mind, the African mind, the black mind, with the European mind. We're not who we're African in body, but our mind, our spirit, our consciousness, our central computer is a Europeanized computer. And as long as white supremacy keep us thinking, acting, and moving as a European, then he doesn't have to war. He doesn't have to cringe. He doesn't have to condescend. Why? Because we'll finish off ourselves.
For sure. For sure. All right. All right. I really wanted to touch on this. California. You know, I'm not even going to just limit it to L.A. California is a very territorial place. Even in Oakland. You feel me? Like, people just, you know, they on their own wave. They got their own neighborhoods. You know, we territorial. We don't let outsiders come in and change nothing. But a young man by the name of T. Rogers moved to L.A. and he got a whole neighborhood to come behind him and push behind him,
right,
for in a name and start a hood called Black Pea Stones, which is originally, you know, was founded in Chicago. How do you think, like, what do you think gave him the ability to just come from Chicago and just start like a hood like that?
Oh, this is a very simple question. The answer is that he came with something that no other entity, no other gathering came with. When he came down with principles. And the principles are truth, love, peace, freedom, and justice. We need justice in our community due to the racism and the systematic racism that we've gone through. Everybody want to know the truth. Everyone want to know who they are, where they come from. Because that's something the European took away from us, was truth, understanding, knowing. You know, based on the European philosophy, African, black, Hebrew, Israelite, whatever we tend to call ourselves, wasn't able to accomplish, bring forth nothing of creation, nothing. So we all want to know the truth. Peace. Everybody want peace in their life. Every man want to be able to raise his family and prosper. Love. We all want love. An animal want love. You know, all the way down to the insect, all the way down to the chromosomes. You know what I mean? We all seek love, affection, attention. You know what I mean? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And everybody wants justice to be served. When monstrosities or incorrectness is bestowed upon us, there should be justice for such fragrant acts of violence, mishaps, murder, and things of that nature. So when he came down with principles to a community that was basically discombobulated, not functioning correctly, toxic. So you got a toxic community yearn for an answer to the question. So when he came with the philosophy to the West Adams district, to the jungles, the Baldwin Hills community, you know what I mean, those people were eager to embrace the knowledge, the 5 principles, the 5-point star, which represents man. You know, 5 points, the head, the arms, and the leg. The 5 points, the 5.
For sure. All right. And for the record, like, I'm pretty sure other people covered this in their interviews, but I'm curious. You know, I'm pretty sure there's other people watching who's curious as well. I don't know what colors they wear for the Black Pea Stones in Chicago, but whose idea was, okay, we gonna push this BPS, but we gonna push Bloods though?
Okay, like I said in the interview, like black pea stone, the real black pea stone are not blood.
Right.
You know what I mean? We are people. We are a people nation. If we go by the ideology and the laws of Chicago where it came from, you gotta remember when the Black Pea Stone first was created, they were the Black Pea Stone Raiders. They were Rangers. And these were young guys that went to a juvenile facility, and when they came out, you know what I mean, they came together to band together against the Devil's Disciples, you know, which was another gang that were inducing the community with Satanism, with different acts, violence, you know what I mean, you know, so people came together, the brothers came together and said, we got these Devil's Disciples, so what we have to do is we got to band together so we can fight, you know, and sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. But when you fight fire with fire, everything catch on fire. So we became worser than the Devil's Disciples. But when the colors are red, black, and green, which represents the you know, Black Power, the Black Power movement, the vanguard, things of these natures, and when he brought it. He just brought a philosophy. You know, he didn't bring death like a lot of brothers brings and a lot of gangs worship, which is death. He brought a principle. And the only reason we became Bloods was based on the geologic place where we was in Los Angeles. You know, there's not too many independent gangs that's able to function on one accord. So, for my knowledge, for what I've studied and what I've read, because I wasn't there, that we aligned ourselves with the Brims at one point. Then it was a big meeting between the Pyrus, the Develanes, I believe the Bishops was there, the Black Pea Stones came, you know, in various Bloods to fight the Crip movement. You know what I mean? Not to disrespect no one, but the Crip movement represented violence, represented death, represented crime. It represented basically what the Devil's Disciples represented, which the hurt of other people. And this is a story that I heard, that Tookie Williams went to Inglewood and he caused so much hurt and bloodshed in one day. In one day, they said, we're going to be the Inglewood family Bloods to stop this. This is what I've just read and what I've, you know what I mean, kind of, you know, I've been studying when it comes to the gang ideology. But people were just trying to fight a hurricane of destruction. So you had to become that hurricane. You had to become that fire to fight that fire.
I feel it. All right, for sure. Now, okay. 1 second. Shit. All right. Now, you on a different mission. You know what I'm saying? You older now. You know, we got a mutual friend. You know, he speaks highly of you, man. In your mission of, you know, switching gears, okay, I can't do this for the rest of my life, you know, excuse me, I've always had love for the hood, you know, but, you know, I'm on a different mission. I'm going to save the youth, I'm going to take care of my family, I'm going to elevate in life. Can't just die in the hood. In your mission of reaching success, you know, because I don't want to say it on here, but, you know, you're a hard-working man. You know, you doing your thing. You got a lot of stuff going on a positive level that allows you to earn money. In your mission of, you know, changing gears, you know, becoming a different person. Has any?
But
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. What I was gonna answer the question right now. basically, I'm gonna give you a little update of my upbringing. And basically, within my upbringing, I don't know. I think due to the trauma, the mental illness, and the suffering that I endured as a child, as I started growing up to be that adolescent, I always knew the truth. And even as me being a young blood, a stone in the community, I always tend to try to do the right thing. Even as, like I said, don't get it wrong. I done robbed people. I done broken people's houses. I done punched people out. All this negativity. But at the same time, I was that one guy. If I seen an old lady walking down the street, I help her with her groceries. If I see somebody with a car, broken into back when I was selling dope, and it occurred in my area, I'll give the people, money to get new windows for their cars and things of that nature, or a new radio. So where I grew up in a heavily Belizean community. At the time, it was a local gang. They were called the BBN, the Belizean Blood Nation. I'll never forget this. And these guys came from, Belize, Central America, and they didn't really have strong ties with the 20s, the Blackstones, things of that nature. But they came as like an independent Belizean kind of blood type of thing that they orchestrated. And these guys, with some stand-up guys, they sold dope like water. Don't get me wrong, but they had like rules and regulations that triggered something in me. It was almost kind of delightful, It was very daunting to be able to witness this occurrence, in my life. Looking out the windows when I was a kid and seeing these guys stand up for the community, and people was getting violated for writing on walls, and if you sold dope to kids, you was getting your ass whooped, or even as kids you was forced to go to school. Like if you was in the area, if you was in the hood, some of the same attributes as the Blackstones, but we was on a hill. It was a hill called Manhattan Place,
right?
In L.A. It was a street called Manhattan.
After Western.
And between Western, Adams, 27th Street. That street. And these guys, kind of like controlled that area with force back in 85, 86, and just when the spread of the Belizeans came. And they just instilled like you can be hood, but you can be good, and it's just something about that. That's what carried me to the Black Peace Zone. Because originally, from my geographic, from where I grew up, I really supposed to be a rolling 20 blood from 27th Street. Most of them guys is kind of like who I know, watched growing up. But I went City Stone Bloods because they shared them same attributes as the Belizean Bloods when they were there. Because eventually they got deported like yourself. People get caught up. Most of them is out the country, things of this nature. So so if I can just kind of be like that, I know I have a chance. Like they wasn't, eager to have you go out there and shoot people, or are eager to have you, kind of do harm to people. It was kind of like, it was like a social group of just, friends and guys coming together and, reading different books and, praying to Allah. That's where my, Muslim ideologies and philosophies come from. And, I just think that's what got me through the era of where you from, back to when you had to be from something. And, it was just a blessing, because I got put on Blackstone when they made you get put on. It wasn't no go up to no park asking to get put on. They they was putting you on for you. And first I felt it was a bad thing, but as I learned the philosophy and seen the love and was able to commence myself with the love, then I just, it just made me better. It made me where I could shine. It was okay. I was a working stone and I wasn't on the street hurting people and getting off a job. And, I go to like our gang meetings and brothers in they, uniforms from work and city outfits. And, it was just like, okay, this, so growing up without those prejudice of they're gonna look at me crazy if I, I'm in violation if I'm not, it was like the total opposite. So that's what, it just brought my character up. I was able to be free, knowing that I had individuals that thought like me who I can turn to at one moment. It's a little different now because this is new generation, this is new politics occurring, but it was just a blessing to be able to like witness that. I got put on when I was 13 and a quarter. So, I'm in my 40s. So just to witness, it was just some good dudes back there. It was some good guys. A lot of them in prison, a lot of them passed, but it was really good guys from the set. And I'm just blessed for them. They never pushed me to the wrong direction. It was there. If you wanted to do that, it wasn't forbidden. But, on the ultimate of it all, if you wanted to do righteousness, that wasn't forbidden. So you had choices from the hood I was from. And that's what brought me here today.
All right.
It was choice.
For sure. I was...
And also another thing, cut you off, and the other part to that equation on why I am where I am, I never mentioned this, but also became a part of the Masonic Order. I'm a free and accepted Mason, Prince Hall Mason. I'm a 32nd degree Mason. And through those learning tools, work tools of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and growth, I was able to become a better man. So it's basically I went from one school to another, and I have the work tools and the desire and the passion to be a better man, to be a father figure, to be an inspiration in my community based on the narrative of righteousness. Because due to the Jewish Zionist white supremacy, these laws, these injustice, systematic racism, but in reality, the biggest fight is the central banks, the Illuminatis, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Rockefellers, the Friedman families, all these entities that are fighting and antagonizing the black community with their racism and their injustice and their mass incarcerations and their, making up diseases. They made AIDS at Howard University. They created COVID in China. This wave of death. So, the biggest enemy is the central banks. These private institutions that finances, prison incarceration, death, and the destruction, and the destruction and the disenvelopment of the African, Black, Hebrew Israelite, Muslim communities. And just me, learning, going through the fraternity, learning different signs and symbols, those signs and symbols was able to kind of catapult me to different positions and put me in places with different people that I probably wouldn't be able to enter in any other circumstances.
Right. I was going to ask you, man, in your path to success, I know you said like when you was as an adolescent or coming up, you knew in the back of your mind, I ain't gonna be, the average gangbanger. And like you said, you had the Belizean blood nation, that you kind of, looked up to in terms of, how they moved with structure and, respect for the community. All right, so in your path of moving, elevating, did you ever like any cribs or rivals ever seen you like, yeah, you probably on a path to success, but you still stony for BPS. I'm finna try to get up on you, or any ignorant thing like that ever happen?
Absolutely. I went through so much turmoil with the Harlem Crips. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I done been shot at a few times. Back and forth, shootouts with them brothers from Jefferson, off Jefferson Street. It was a very treacherous, time. And
yeah.
Just back to just the white supremacy and them dividing the communities and using these barriers to like keep us socially, psychologically, emotionally, financially trapped. So when you angered, you frustrated, you mad, you become, mentally unstable. So based on the mental illness that plagued our community, we resort in violence because 9 times out of 10, I lived in HUD housing. They lived in HUD housing. 9 times out of 10, we were on Section 8. They are on Section 8. 9 times out of 10, they on SSI. We on SSI. They on GR. We on GR. So based on the narrative of financial, biological, systematic warfare, you tend to look at a person like yourself that looks like you as the enemy. But I went through a lot of trial and tribulations, getting jumped on the dash bus by schoolyard Crips and being shot at by Harlem. And then another act of war commenced when the 18th Street got involved. And that's when things became very hostile because now you're dealing with a race of people that's here to replace you for one, that's here to, implement rules and regulations from the Mexican mafia, and also is in a position to take your jobs and literally, wipe you off the planet and replace you as well. So I've been through a lot. I've been through fights in juvenile facilities. I've been to camp a few times. Various places of pain, suffering, and agony. So where, due to that trauma, I was able to catapult myself into different directions of learning and structure. And now I'm here now to, overcome trauma and to, tap into my chakras and to align my kundalini so I can become an affluent member of this community.
All right, for sure. And by the way, I heard a chakra. What is a kundalini for those of us who don't know?
Okay, the kundalini is the energy that runs through your spine. So your brain is the central computer that operates your body and tells your body what to do. But in the act of your brain being connected to your spine, energy and vibration runs through your spine. So that means when you think you want your finger to move, it goes through your kundalini. It goes through the energy. It goes through, blood vessels and neurons within your body. So your finger obviously moves. But the energy is when you wake up and you get up and you subconsciously move your body, move your head left to right, there's an energy that goes through that. And when you lose your life or something traumatic happens and you lose your kundalini, then life doesn't exist. So when you see someone that like been shot or someone who died and you wonder why they can't move or can't function, it's because the kundalini, the energy, has been not existent in the body anymore. It's been evaporated, like a air being evaporated from a balloon. As long as air is in that balloon, it will float. But the moment you decease the air from that balloon, then it will not float.
For sure. Man, Stody, time done flew. We done blew past the limit. You done got me so wrapped up in this thing, man. But I was definitely.
There's no limit. There's no limit to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in God. There's no limit. We can't limit structure. We can't limit peace. Life has no limit. As long as you commit and praise the right thing, then your soul will live on forever. So we see that Martin Luther King is not here with us, but the impression, the stamp that he made within our souls, our minds, and on this hemisphere, we speak in his name now, he still exists through energy and vibration. So there's no time. Life is not time. Life is based on eternity. But I get it. I don't want to hold you.
Nah. I appreciate you, man. You saying some real stuff, man. But real quick before we get up out of here, man. There's people who unfortunately not gonna be able to. Not that they don't have the ability to grasp the knowledge that you dropping on here, but they just not they're not, they don't get it. In tune.
Yeah, and it's okay, because not everyone is gonna get the message, but everybody will hear the message.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just to let them know, all the people out there in the world that's listening, that tune into your show, I'm straight from the streets, straight from the ghetto, dealt with mental illness, seen trauma, been through a vast number of pursuits, police brutality, systematic racism, everything. I am you. I just sat down and educated myself. We have to read, we have to study. For us as a nation to become better, we have to study various books and wisdoms and understanding to interlock that higher conscious that's embedded in our soul. We come from kings and queens and goddesses, in the beginning of time. So we have to unlock that and break away from our European ties and ideology. We have to rip out the European consciousness and the European mind from our bodies and harvest and enact that African king, that African God, that black God that lies within us. But through studying, we have to break the generation Willie Lynch curse. We have to break the curse. We gotta break it.
For sure, man. Hey, man. Like I said, man, I told you it was gonna be a treat. I told y'all this part 2. Sure, look out for part 3. Like he said, it's no limit, right? But until next time, man. My man.
Make all this way. Stone love. Ashe. And may truth, love, and peace, freedom, and justice be with you. On the 5.
For sure. Stony, BPS, S.WigginsTV. You got to hear first and second. Look out for the third.
STL. STL, my brothers and sisters. Stone love.
There you go. We out.